What's up, heathens? How you guys doing today? We're going to be going over how the activist mommy on both Facebook and YouTube employs a parenting paradigm that very often kills children because of how abusive it is. Recently, the activist mommy has been making a lot of waves on the internet with her rants against the LGBT community.
People are fighting their true biological identity, and Hollywood and the media are trying to pressure us to celebrate this.
She's also been burning teen magazines for teaching safe sex.
We should not be teaching children, period, how to have sex.
Mainly because they remind her that anal sex is still a thing. You would think that the children's well-being would be at the forefront of her mind, considering that she's a mother of 10. And luckily, she's decided to share with the world her common sense rules of parenting. And here they are. 1. Children bruise easily, so no shorts in public if you've recently beat them. 2. Beating your children at home is better than beating them in public. 3. Use a switch, a paddle, a belt, or a wooden spoon to beat your child. 4. Make sure children cry quietly, because being loud is a sign of rebellion and can also get social services called on. 5. Don't let social workers in your home without a court order, and never answer any questions from a social worker without a lawyer present. Now, her family calls this proactive child training and gets these ideas from a single verse in the Bible. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs 22:6. Now, there are plenty of others out there that take this particular verse in the Bible as a sign from God that they should beat the submission into their children. This would include To Train Up a Child's authors Michael and Debbie Pearl. So as you can see, this is not an uncommon mindset in the Christian community. And it's a mindset that the activist mommy, Elizabeth Johnston, has actually taken up. Now, the Johnstons don't recommend that you baby-proof the house. Instead, what they suggest you should do is to train your child not to do certain things in your house. And in order to train them, they suggest smacking the crap out of your child with a wooden spoon, kitchen utensils. Now, it's painfully clear, if you look at the source material that I've linked in the description, that they are very hyper aware that this kind of activity, this kind of training of children is very abusive, and it's seen that way by the general public. Their second common sense rule is to hide it from the public. Also, rule number 1 has them hiding the bruises with clothing. Another way that the Johnstons, hide their abuse is by whipping their kids with utensils or other objects. They do this because hands, surprisingly, can cause bruising very easily. They even go as far to advise people on how to beat babies that are still in diapers without, dislocating a hip or injuring their back in a permanent way. They say that you're liable to swing harder at a child in diapers. And to mitigate this, they tell you to smack a child that is in diapers on the thigh or other exposed parts with a wooden spoon. They also insist on making sure that your child cries quietly, because you know how pesky people are when they hear a crying child and see a parent beating them. I mean, people tend to call the authorities on that kind of stuff. They also tell you that excessive crying is seen as rebellious and needs to be stomped out quick. And by stomped out, I mean you continue to hurt your child while they are crying. This is the same kind of nonsense that parents employ now, where they spank their child while they're crying, telling them not to cry. It doesn't make sense. Well, unless you're the Johnstons. Again, this highlights how aware they are that this is very wrong and that they probably shouldn't be doing this, but they are still doing it because their Bible tells them to. They try to silence the child or get the child to cry quietly so that other people are not alarmed. You can tell here that their main goal is to quiet their child so that they don't alert other people of the abuse that is being inflicted upon them by their parents. I mean, who wants to get social services called while you're beating your child? In their final point of their common sense rules for parenting, they also tell you exactly how to act when social services get called on you. Not if, but when. When they get called on you. And they basically say that you shouldn't let in a social service worker unless they have a court order. And they heavily emphasize that you should not talk to a social worker without a lawyer present. This clearly shows how hyper aware they are that what they are doing to their children is in fact wrong and seen as abusive by the general population. These people, the activist mommy and her entire family, are despicable people because of how hyper aware they are that this is wrong. And yet they've devised these methods in order to hide the abuse that they inflict upon their children. They go so far as to actually erase all of this from their website. All of this information provided by the link down below was accessed through the Wayback Machine, the Internet Archive. They've tried to erase this information, but you can't erase something once it's been on the internet. This activist mommy, Elizabeth Johnston, will protect her children from the horrors of safe sex and totally crap on the LGBT community as defiling children's minds. Telling Christian parents to calm down about being upset that Disney is prostituting and defiling the minds of our children is really the last thing Christian parents need to hear. At least in Elizabeth Johnston's mind, I guess the thing that parents need to hear is how to properly abuse their children while hiding it from the public and social services. She publishes these blog articles and these videos under the guise of wanting to protect children, when in fact they abuse their own children and suggest that other Christian parents abuse their children. I mean, she burned a stack of magazines to protect her children against safe sex? Because who wants their children practicing safe sex once they get to the appropriate age? This woman is a hypocrite of the worst kind. Any parent who gives a smidgen about their kids is not going to allow their children to have their minds and hearts defiled by entertainment that celebrates and laughs at what God has called an abomination. Really? Any parent that actually loves their children are not going to beat them with kitchen utensils. They're going to love them and teach them through proper parenting instead of just beating them like a freaking cave person. Whew. You know, guys, I really have to say that I am so glad the activist mommy is out there protecting her children and everybody's children against safe sex advice while being at home and beating her own children into submission and suggesting that other Christian parents need to do the exact same thing because Bible. Oh yeah, forgot to mention, also hiding all of this from the public and the social workers. Good on you, activist mommy. Good on you. At the beginning of this, I mentioned how this particular parenting paradigm can cause the death of children. And if you just do a simple Google search, you will find that this to train up a child mentality, the Michael and Debbie Pearl method of parenting, has actively killed children. There are so many children out there that have been beaten using this paradigm and have died because of it. It is very dangerous, and the fact that the activist mommy is getting so much praise out there for quote-unquote protecting children while at the same time beating her kids just is so insane to me that I don't even know how to react. I guess the only way that I know how to react is just disgust. So, activist mommy, if you're out there, I really hope that you no longer push this whole to train up a child mentality. I doubt that that's the situation, but if indeed you do despise it, please publicly come out and speak out against this type of parenting. I challenge you to do this. If you like the information in this video, please leave a like. Also subscribe if you like this kind of content. Leave me a comment down below with your thoughts on this situation and the exposing of the activist mommy. And I guess I will see you heathens later. Don't forget that it's important to stand up and use your voice. Bye, heathens.